Okay, this is kind of unusual. Our guest again for the second week is Larry Frimmerman. He is the executive director of the county Metropark system, and we are going to do this interview, so you're going to hear some birds. You're going to see us jumping over wet areas during the interview, but we are at, this is not Hatches Corners, okay, it's on Route 7, just before the, I think it's the Church of God is the name. And we're going to talk, we talked about overall the Metroparks last week, and I think what we're going to be talking about more specifically is what's going on in Conneaut. And so, describe where we are today.
Sure. We are on a mulch natural trail in on the south side of Hatches Corners Metropark, coming in off the Route 7 parking area. We have at Hatches Corners is a 202-acre wildlife preserve that now has a second parking lot that we've just installed this past fall, and a new trail that was also just created on the north side off of Hatches Corners Road. So, and eventually, hopefully later this year, we'll be able to connect up the north and south trails.
So you can park at one and walk both of them.
Correct. And Hatches Corners is one of a few Metroparks and trails that are both for horses as well as for pedestrians and hikers.
There's been some evidence of that, plus there's little pictures of people riding horses and all.
Yes, there are very good directional signs along the trail markers, so you can find your way. Hatches Corners is one of the 3 Metroparks that Ashtabula County Metroparks has had help from the Civic Development Corporation to install amenities at, including trails, the north parking lot here at Hatches Corners, benches at different places. Lamson Reservoir has had a very significant amount of attention, where we've installed a 340-foot long observation pier and fishing.
And that's one
location.
of the places where another place that they have horses.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's just it's on 307 in Jefferson
Township.
Yeah.
Yeah, that has a great set of trails there, and there is an ADA accessible ramp that's being installed today at Lamson Reservoir to be able to connect the parking lot with the observation pier. So that is one of them.
We're heading into some more, a little denser brush here as we go here.
And now we're entering the forest.
Yeah.
So the third CDC funded effort was at the Friends of Conneaut Creek Metropark at Blakesley Road here in Conneaut.
Right, that's just off South Ridge.
Where we have a 0.4 of a mile paved loop trail that we've gotten their grant money to install, and that was done over a year ago at this point. So all of these changes have been as a result of the matching funds that Metroparks has been able to leverage through the advent and passage of the Metroparks Park Levy, which was passed for the first time in 2014 and will be coming up for a renewal, and it's just a renewal, no additional taxes,
right,
for November.
So what's really is that there is money out there, grants and all, but they want to see that you also have money that you're investing in whatever the grant money is for. And so the fact that we have this levy, it can be used as maybe seed money for the projects.
Yes. And most of the money that we have been leveraging over the last year or so has been for the development of our parks and trails.
So people, for what they're paying for, they're getting a lot more for their dollar.
Yes. In fact, in total, they have been getting a 400 to 500% return on their investment.
You don't get that in Vegas.
No. And we certainly, despite efforts by businesses, are not getting it in the stock market either.
Yeah.
So, but you are getting it here because of the promise that we had made to leverage levy money to bring in additional funds to grow our parks and our trails. We are applying for funds to begin the Pymatuning Valley Greenway Trail, which will eventually connect up from Jamestown, Pennsylvania, all the way to the Western Reserve Greenway, somewhere near Austinburg.
Okay.
And we have leveraged grant money to finish finally the North Shore Trail.
That is great.
In Ashtabula, to go from West Avenue all the way to Ashtabula Harbor and the various restaurants and shops.
Absolutely.
As well as
Bridge Street.
Yes, as well as Lake Erie and Walnut Beach. So you'll be able to go from Trumbull County to Walnut Beach.
So.
And that's part of the Great Lake to River
Right.
Trail, which is a 110-mile trail that will go from Pittsburgh to Ashtabula, Lake Erie.
So we have a big. We're looking to see where we can get across. A little bit of rain here. Okay, we're gonna walk and we're gonna try to talk. But yeah, the trail to the lake has been talked about for so long. It was such a great idea. It just seemed like it was never going to happen.
Yes, and there's no two ways about it. It was close to 30 years in the making and the planning, and because of the levy funds, we finally are able to do enough and leverage enough to be able to get where we need to go, which is to have gotten $1.1 million in federal and state transportation funds.
Wow, yeah.
And that's what it will take. Now we're seeking close to $2 million in state, federal, and local funds for the Pymatuning Trail over the next year and a half. So there's a lot of work to be done. And you can tell most of our money is going into creating parks and trails.
Yes. Talk about a little bit about Camp Pete, which I can remember being well used in the 50 years ago, but kind of has fallen on bad times lately. We just crossed, I think, a little mini river there. But there have been a lot of improvements to Camp Pete. And what's interesting is when we talk about a lot of these things is that the Metroparks is near something else. It's near the covered bridge down there. So what has been done with Camp Pete?
Yes, thank you, Bob. Camp Pete has been well taken care of by a friends group for Camp Pete through the years.
It's just kind of been underutilized, don't you think?
Sure, and it was never really open to the public. And now we've opened it up to the public. We've added a nice new pavilion in addition to the older one that had existed much further back. And we've just installed a waterless vault toilet there, which will both protect the environment, be able to be utilized by all. It's an accessible one, and will be a permanent fixture there. So we've also added new hiking trails and fishing access points that have been brush hogged in. So that trail is now about 1.5 miles between the various segments. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful trail. Right now, you'll probably see all the wetland plants like skunk cabbage, and even there may be some trillium up there. There certainly are going to be bluebells, Virginia bluebells there. They're wonderful bird species.
Yeah, if you're listening to this broadcast, and if you just tuned in, we're walking a trail while we're doing this. You can hear the birds adding to the conversation.
But they're respectful.
Being respectful, yes.
It's a very nice trail here at Hatches Corners, and it is one of but several that we have recently added. And our operations manager, Brett Bellis, has been responsible for coordinating and doing most of it with a group of volunteers that have provided their own blood, sweat, and tears. Prior to the levee, we really only had Harper's Field and the Western Reserve Greenway Trail, and whatever we had was being maintained by volunteers.
Right. And from what I understand, some of them were getting a little old and they weren't being replaced.
It's not an easy thing to retain that level of strong volunteer corps, but we've done it, and we have replaced them. But we've added the 6 new parks, and that will be added to this year in 2019. There'll be at least 2 more parks, including Indian Mound Park, which I think I may have mentioned earlier, which is wonderful because...
So where is that again?
Indian Mound Park is on Mill Road, just across the Arch Bridge in Conneaut. So
okay.
Yes. So if you've been to Conneaut, you've been next to, if not near, the Arch Bridge.
You also have the park by the Gateway Elementary.
And that will eventually connect up all the way down to Indian Mound Park. It's called Indian Mound Park because it's next to what's known locally as Fort Hill, which is the Conneaut Earthworks.
Right. Okay, yeah.
Is the last remaining large structure in Ashtabula County that was a remnant of our Indian heritage.
And this is also near the Outdoor Learning Center. So it's interesting how all these projects are near something else that people can see. Covered Bridge with Camp Pete, and the Outdoor Learning Center.
So, and the key about the Conneaut projects is that it's a part of a Conneaut Creek protection project that we've worked with Ohio EPA, Ohio Department of Natural Resources, and also the city of Conneaut on.
So we are out of time. Give us the website in case people want to check it out. We got to go.
Sure, it's www.ashtabulametroparks.com. Also look there for master planning workshops and forums that are coming up later this month.
Larry Frimmerman, thank you.